Welcome everyone. I'm Alexander Mihalcea, and today we have one of the industry leaders, Arpit Dugar, CEO of Lab of Futures. Hello, Arpit. How are you doing today?
Hi, Alexander. It's a pleasure to be with you. I'm doing great.
Great, awesome. I'm excited to have you on the podcast today, and I'm sure you have to be on of the great value for our audience. And before we dive right in, could you give us a quick overview of what Lab of Future does?
Absolutely. Lab of Future, as you read the name, it's a laboratory for the future technologies, for the life that planet is going to see in future. So Lab of Future primarily we ideated for students right from younger age group, as young as 6 year olds and above. And we crafted a curriculum which is completely based on hands-on learning and technology. So students can come to the laboratory, whether they are 6 to 7 year olds, 8 to 10 year olds, 11 to 14 year olds, 15 to 18 year olds, or undergraduates and seniors. So we have crafted a set of activities and research-based projects on space sciences, astronomical sciences, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, brain computing, space robotics, drone design, electronics, RC planes designs, satellite designing courses, rockets designing programs. So there is a lot for students to explore inside the laboratory. So as if you ask me what does Lab of Future do for the students, we try to create those experiences in educational domain wherein kids or students or adults they get excited to learn more and be those curious lifelong learners.
Yeah. Okay. That's really fascinating. And what inspired you to create a future? Was there a specific moment or experience that sparked this journey?
Yeah, actually, if you look back at our own school days, there were very limited opportunities for us to experience a thing and learn from that. And when we are there out in real time situations, it's always that you learn from the surroundings, you collaborate with teams, you improvise depending on what the situation is. And unless and until you have hands-on skills, you have got the understanding of how things work. It really gets difficult for you to make anything, in its working form
Yeah.
or provide a viable solution for it. As far as technology is concerned, then in last 5 years, 6 years, as the advent of AI happened, the industrial transformation is happening across all industries, and students need to be prepared for the future. So one of our big research document was how to prepare students for 2040, because the students who are in school right now will be the first professionals in around 2040.
Right.
So what kind of jobs will be there? Today you have managers, doctors, lawyers, teachers, but tomorrow you will have augmented reality architects, AI ethicists, brain computer mappers, digital detoxifiers, exoterraforming farmers. Now where do you create this kind of a bandwidth of students? So that is where we thought that okay, let's take students away from the addiction to digital screens and bring them to real time action in technology so that they get excited about looking at the outcomes, and at the same time they're being prepared for the future.
Right.
So that
Right.
was a moment of uh, inspiration from the learnings that we saw out in the market.
Okay. Very interesting point. And for example, what was your background before starting this venture?
I have been an enthusiast myself. I'm an electronics and communication engineer with special interest in satellite communication. Right from engineering days, I wanted to do something which brings in this satellites communications understanding back to society. Because people 20 years back, 15 years back, used to think, including myself, that
Yeah.
this is which is not for a common man. Space agencies are going to execute these projects, governments are going to invest in it, but how exactly am I being benefited from these space programs? So that was
Yeah.
the initial spark, and then I was one of the fortunate fellows in India who got a chance to meet Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who was the space scientist, rocket scientist, and also the president of the country at a point of time. I got a chance to be with him, discuss with him the plans, the ideas in which we can bring real scale transformation in the society. And that's where we thought that, okay, this can only be done using, uh, or I would say, developing temperament for science. So
Mhm.
once you have scientific approach to something, uh, the way of looking at a particular problem changes totally.
Yeah.
So we thought, okay, let's bring this science centers and space science centers into the community. So that seed was sown back in 2013-14, but it took me almost a 7 year of journey to collate things together, to bring finances in place, to connect with people, to network more, and then launch it. So 2023 we got live.
Okay, okay, I see. And for example, I have a curiosity by then. So, how are you integrating physics, mathematics, and geography into practical space science projects?
Oh, absolutely. And this is one thing which I have seen as an impact of our programs with the students. So, usually, what happens is if a child is asked to learn some theorems, formulas, and apply them in theoretical problems, the word problems, the studies are still confined to that theoretical approach. It entirely changes when you're trying to make something practically functional. So, I'll give you an example. So, let's say if I say, what is a plus b whole squared? And I can guarantee all children of that particular age group who are studying this will be able to answer this.
Yeah,
Then we give them a word problem or a problem to solve. Most of them will take some time but still be able to solve it.
yeah,
But now when we say, okay, you have a stepper motor and you have to rotate it at a particular angle and you have to use these two equations to balance it. Now they don't know how this mathematics is going to be used for that motor, or how am I going to use my trigonometry in managing the alignment of the fins of a rocket.
yeah,
So if I have to lift the rocket and if I have to balance the center of gravity and center of mass in a rocket, so my physics gets applied there right away. My mathematics will come into action because I have to make these model rockets on scale. If I don't do that, my rocket is not going to lift. So all these precise calculations of physics, which is supplied by mathematics, comes into action. So reverse happens. A child, if doesn't know theory, will get interested in theory because theory is going to bring more precision in their life
yeah.
models. So that's how the studies play a very important role, and children get excited to learn, open their books again rather than scrolling on digital media and social
100%.
media. And then geography plays a very important role in any of the projects that we do. So for example, if I have to lift something 1 kilometer high versus 1 kilometer in latitudinal length on the surface, there is a lot of difference when you take things high up. So as soon as you move high, temperature, pressure, humidity, variations will start coming in. And I'm talking about, let's say, 1 kilometer high. When we go to 40 kilometers high, things again change. 100 kilometers high, things again change. So a lot of understanding of uh, geographical concepts are required for research work before the prototyping begins.
Yeah, okay, okay, I see. And for example, what role do International Space Agency mentors playing in shaping your educational approach?
Oh, we are very grateful for the mentors that we have on board. We have people from NASA, and we have people from European Space Agency, from Indian Space Agency. Different people helping us out. They have been onboarded as mentors. They look into the programs that we create, they review it, they provide us right feedbacks, they expose a lot of resources which are openly available, but they are with the agencies. So those educational resources we are able to take from them, convert them into physical prototyping so students can enjoy. More than that, they also train our trainers, they train our whole team, and they also expose about the future missions that these agencies are doing.
Yeah.
So we are always geared up for what is coming up 10 years from now.
Okay, okay, I see. Now, let's touch on a popular topic. So, for example, how is AI reshaping the education landscape, particularly in space sciences?
That's quite an interesting question, actually. Uh, I would say AI was being used in space sciences from long as predictive analysis. Not now, perhaps 30, 40, 50 years back. It's just
Yeah,
that the capability of AI has increased and it has come to common man's hand.
right.
Uh, there are multiple projects. One of our partners is a company called Space Copy, which is doing the prototyping for additive manufacturing on lunar surface. So they are creating these 3D printers, which are projected to reach to lunar surface by 2031. And a lot of AI is being used in terms of understanding the environments, in terms of self recovery of failed systems, in terms of data analysis, in terms of any cross functional communications.
Yeah.
So there are plenty of interventions that AI is helping these projects, but I think it is just a start. I mean, next 5 years we will see a massive
Right.
transformation with these AI tools coming into place. One of our projects was on space debris management, and the mentors from European Space Agency was talking about how AI is able to give them analysis of these fast moving space debris, because they
Hmm.
usually go around 10 kilometers per second with that
Yeah.
speed. So how these softwares are capturing it, and how that data analysis and image processing is going on, AI is really reshaping that whole ecosystem.
Okay, okay, okay. Very, very interesting thing. And what role does technology play in making space science more accessible to students?
I think that is something which this is a very relevant question that you have asked, and that is something which I take pride as launching this concept of lab of future. So in space sciences, if you pick any particular project, one, the complexity of the project is too high. Second, the precision of technologies that have to be used should be at its peak, at its best. One small minor failure anywhere can cause a lethal damage to any space mission. So let's take an example of sending a satellite to orbit.
Yeah.
Now, if you have to talk about the satellite itself, the payload will involve your electronics, will involve robotics, the designing skills, the understanding of the environment, research, the fabrication of it. So a lot of technologies get involved there. At the same time, now when it is to be launched, then you need a launching vehicle. So you need all the rocket sciences to come into action.
Yeah.
Now, when it has to be brought down to student levels, for a student of school age group, or a undergraduate who's going to a college or a university, for them to understand these complex methods, the complex systems which are working together, it needs to be divided into different pieces. So rather than studying about the whole satellite together, we bifurcate them into multiple parts. So first is the research of what kind of a payload do we want. Second
Yeah.
comes about the electronic systems and integration of sensors and power systems and all the things that you want to
Okay.
integrate. Third would come is the design and fabrication of it. Fourth would come the telemetric data analysis and understanding how this is going to work in external environment. Fifth is the integration with the launch vehicle. So when you look at a particular project, once you start bifurcating it into different technologies and different phases, that gets easier for students.
Right.
And in all these different parts and segments, their core academics get integrated, whether it is physics or mathematics, chemistry, biology for that matter,
Yeah.
geography. All these subjects play a vital role.
Okay, okay. Very interesting. And how do you balance digital tools with hands-on learning experiences?
As an enthusiast for technology, I have a little different opinion here. Uh, for the younger ones, students right from kindergarten to up to age group of 7 to 8 years, I prefer them not to be on devices. Like completely, they should be devoid of devices. There is no need of devices, even if it
Right.
is tech. So if it is tech, then it should be hands-on tech for them. Now, when we talk about 11 years and above, definitely some exposure to softwares is required and exposure to simulators is required so that they can learn more from there. But it has to be balanced very well. So, in the programs that we have curated at Lab of Future, we have taken due care that there is less than 20% intervention of the screens, and the rest everything goes like
Yeah.
hands on. So I believe if careful efforts are put down to any particular concept to make it reach to the masses, to the audience, if carefully crafted, you can do it without much intervention of digital screens and digital tools.
Okay, okay, I see. So, walk us through how Lab of Futures addresses these challenges. What makes your approach unique?
So with Lab of Future, we have done a couple of interesting interventions with students. We give them research opportunities. So if a child has his or her own idea to explore, which can be completely off an existing idea, they can still come to the lab, do their research. They have all the possible tools, components, gadgets around to play around and make their own functioning models. So that gives them an acknowledgement that the idea that I was thinking can be real to an extent.
Yeah.
Then from there, the seniors. So this is for the younger ones, but the ones who are like 15 years and above age group, we expose them to industrial connections. So industry partners with us, and we expose master classes, webinars, seminars, industrial projects, internships, certification programs, live projects. All of that happens along with the industry. So these kids, they are directly exposed to what industry is doing right now.
Hmm.
So that is another unique way in which we are giving these learning journeys for the kids. The third is, for each child, the program is customized.
Yeah.
So unlike a school or a college wherein you sit in groups and everyone has to learn the same thing at the same pace. But here at the lab, whether it is inside our laboratories or the DIY programs or the online programs or the school workshops or the school laboratories that we set up, it has got a lot of inputs on personalization.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And what skills do you see becoming crucial for students in the next decade?
I think if you look at hands-on skills, so the world is right now following an approach called STEM approach: science,
Hmm.
technology, engineering, and mathematics. But at lab, we have little redefined it and we have made it as streamer skills.
Okay.
So it is science, technology, research is an element that we have introduced because it gives a lot of options and opens up horizon for a student about the different possibilities that they can get into. Because unlike the previous times, now it's not a time that if you need to be in a space agency, you have to be an engineer. No,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can be a teacher, but you can still be there. You can be a biologist, you can still be a part of a space mission.
Right.
If you want to be an astronaut, you don't need to be categorically a particular set of engineer anymore, right? So those kind of inputs. So when we talk about skills, so research became another one. So when I say streamer, so it's science, technology, research, entrepreneurship, arts, mathematics, engineering, and resilience.
Okay. Okay. I see.
So resilience becomes another important skill for students to look at because science specifically, technology specifically, research for that matter will have a lot of failures in their process of development. So unless and until you are resilient enough, you will not sustain in that environment.
Yeah.
So I say if I think I should add this up. At Lab of Future, we teach you the art of failures, not the art of successes. Because you keep failing, you keep trying and try to
Yeah.
come up with your best viable solutions. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. 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 And for example, when you talk to potential students or clients, what's the biggest misconception they typically have about what you do?
Uh, Sometimes they do think that we send people to Moon and Mars.
Okay.
So uh, on and off, these kind of funny queries will come to us. That's one. So we don't send people to Moon and Mars. We
Yeah.
prepare to understand those environments and how you can create and have fun with technology and create your own projects around it,
Yeah.
which certainly helps them in achieving a lot of credentials for their careers. Uh, the other misconception is like, can we? I mean, a lot of our programs can be delivered online. So, as far as Lab of Future is concerned, our core strength is in hands-on learning programs. We do have some interventions of our online programs, but that's very limited to coding, programming, or learning the theoretical portions of it.
Yeah.
80 to 90% of the work will happen in physical form, whether inside the laboratories or when we are there inside the schools as laboratories or in the form of our DIY kits. But mostly it is experiential through hands-on practice.
Okay. Okay. And also, could you share a specific success story of a student who saw significant results using your solution?
There are many. A few which I remember of the recent times in last a couple of months is One of the parent I remember coming to our Dubai laboratory had the first concern. The child is around 8 year old, and the first concern was the child doesn't breathe without the digital device. So always the child is on some YouTube videos or some social media, and the parents were really worried about it. So they were little concerned whether when the child joins this particular hands-on learning program, whether the child is going to continue this or not.
Yeah.
We took that as an experiment to see. And after 3 months of our interventions, which is close to around 8 to 10 weeks, came a situation wherein the child started to forget that he has a digital device.
Yeah.
Right. So parent calls and inquires, has the child forgotten the mobile phone in the laboratory? We are not able to find it. And child is not even asking it that my phone is not there with me. So one of the impact was this, that when you're giving the right opportunities to kids, they will
Yeah.
not get glued to the digital devices. That is one of the impact. As far as some achievements are concerned, some success stories, a lot of students have secured some good positions in the different tournaments and competitions across the globe. Some of them have been selected by Russian Space Agency for a orbital satellite mission. Some of them have been selected by first Lego Leagues, F1 races in school, World Robotics Olympiads, multiple competitions and challenges. I think our students are going now, across the globe representing Lab of
Okay.
Future.
Interesting. Interesting.
Some of the senior students of undergraduate programs have been able to publish their papers in multiple conferences and in research journals from our platform. They are representing a good amount of research work in international astronautical federations
Yeah.
congresses. So they do it there as well. So I think these are few of recent achievements which I think I can remember of.
Okay. Very, very interesting, though. And now, looking at the broader industry, what key trends are you seeing emerge?
I see there's a lot of transformation, especially with AI. Right now, AI has just started to surface up. Agentic AI is to come. Automated generative AI is shaping up. Super AI will come by 2030, 2035, 2040. So with this AI coming in, a more you know capability toolkit gets added with a human's own
Yeah.
instance, for that matter, own capabilities. So the thing that I was supposed to do in 2 years, with these tools I can perhaps try to finish that within 3 months. Right. So that time will reduce, which means the expectation from a human increases.
Yeah.
Expectations from machines will increase. Dependency on anything which is repeated as a task will shift to automation and machines.
Right.
So if I have to look at the trend which is going on for next decade or two, it is more dependency and more utilization of machines around
Yeah.
us, more dependency on datas and the predictions of the data around us. It's going to happen. So definitely students need to prepare themselves for that ecosystem. There is no second thought about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. 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 And for example, what emerging opportunities do you see in the space science sector?
Space was very closed domain till last decade. It was there was practically negligible reach for a common man.
Yeah.
But from the last decade, it has started to open. Private players have emerged, and one of the key opportunities in any sector that lies is in space sector, because humans have always been, curious to know about what is beyond.
Yeah.
And the work that now different agencies are doing is humankind has now an ambition of interplanetary human existence.
Yeah. Right.
So to look at that, if you drill it down further, there are multiple opportunities in space sector. If you open any space agency's website and look at the kind of vacancies and positions that they are opening up, it is massive,
Yeah.
and it is across all domains. So, and that is where we find our space of trying to see how we can bring in that back to an education form, and then energize these kids. So whether it is about space debris management, space debris, any rocket that goes up leaves so much of clutter around. So that has to be cleaned, otherwise future space missions cannot be done. Now,
Right.
when I just look at this particular segment, there are hundreds of opportunities opening up. If you look at our own planet's monitoring, whether for disaster management or managing the public distribution system or security surveillance, uh, anything for that matter.
Yeah.
So there are many opportunities opening up in that sector. Likewise, I think space has a lot to offer in the coming 2 decades.
Okay, okay, I see. And for example, how can parents better prepare their children for future space related careers?
If they have got kids who are of young age, which I would say less than 12 years of age, they should definitely expose them to good reading material and some nice channels to follow wherein they can get content. They should always provide them good amount of resources to practice with, so that
Yeah.
their curiosity is always energized.
Okay.
When it is for a little senior age group, like towards the end of your schooling, 12 years to 18 years, those 5 6 years, kids should definitely expose themselves to technologies like 3D designing. They should definitely be learning artificial intelligence, a bit of coding, if interest, little of electronics, robotics, STEM skills should be there. And along with this, they should be doing internships, some projects, attending workshops, seminars, participating in events, competitions, exhibitions that should happen across this age, because then they kind of come into that focus area, the core focus zone, that this is what is
And
interesting.
even at the early age, this internship.
Yeah, high school internships they should definitely do, because the
Okay.
see with tech, the thing that I love for tech, what I admire about tech is, irrespective whether you are 50-year-old or a 15-year-old, if you
Yeah.
are able to use an application with its features around. Let's take a simple example. Let's say a graphic designer who is doing something on an application called Canva.
Hmm.
Now, whether he's a 50-year-old or a 15-year-old,
Yeah.
if they know the usage of the tools, then this age gap really reduces.
Right.
So these days, with these AI intervention, AI tools, a lot of programs other than AI as well. There are a lot of programs. That's where I think, once they start attending these workshops and seminars, events, their mind opens up.
Right. Right. Right.
So in the school domain, they should definitely be doing this. Once they get into university, undergraduates, they should start doing professional internships with the industries around. So you don't have to literally wait for 4 years to do that or 3 years to do that. Earlier the better.
Okay. And for example, what advice would you give to educators looking to incorporate space science into their curriculum?
Yeah, I think that is one of the most challenging situations any company like us will face, because educators, with all due respect to them and the knowledge that they possess, is confined to their subject.
Hmm.
In space sciences, we can't be confined to our own subject because it is cross domain.
Yeah.
So integration of physics with mathematics, with robotics, with IT, with geography, with languages, with research, everything has to happen together.
Right.
So when an individual educator is wanting to improvise on their own style, they can pick and choose some examples from the space programs and include them. However, if I have to give an advice, I would perhaps give this advice to a school
Yeah.
or to an institution, that get all your teachers along. We take a problem statement, and with that problem statement, we divide that into multiple different subjects and see how different subjects are contributing to achieve that whole problem.
Yeah. Right.
And
Right. Right.
that you prepare your assignments and questions and assessments, so that when students do it together, they are able to interlink how physics and maths will play a role in this, how bio and chemistry will play a role in this,
Mm-hmm.
how geography and let's say IT and robotics and electronics will play a role in this to make my final model working. So once in a month, if one project is done like this with an investment of 4 to 6 hours of students' time, teachers will have to invest a lot less time in explaining them those concepts in their
Yeah.
theoretical class.
Yeah. Right. Right. Right.
That
Right.
would be my advice, to pick and choose. And we have got these options at Lab of Future as well. I mean, any teacher across the globe wants to learn more about how to get space sciences involved in their core domain. We have got hundred of activities planned for them.
Okay, interesting. And as you wrap up, what's next for Lab of Future and exciting developments on the horizon?
We have some special projects coming up. I will not be able to share complete details, but we are bringing in a lab on wheels. Uh, we are bringing some moon pods. We are bringing Martian settlements. So these kind of different physical arrangements are coming up. Some of them are, as I said, lab on wheels. So it's going to be moving across the cities,
Yeah.
and some of them are physical centers. So students will have real great experiences coming there.
Okay, okay. And for listeners who want to learn more or potentially work with Lab of Future, what's the best way to get in touch?
I think the best way is our website as well as our social media channels. But if somebody is seriously looking to know more, they should definitely visit laboffuture.com. As a student, they have, or as an enthusiast, you have options to join the Lab of Future community,
Yeah.
and you get daily updates about the interest area which you possess. So let's say if you are interested in aerospace, your daily bites of latest things that are happening across the globe, news, events, competitions, some webinars, some DIY challenges, some quizzes. Across the year, you will keep getting this, and that's all
Yeah.
for free. So you can be a part of this community to learn more, and not just for aerospace. We have our communities active for space and astronomy, for robotics, for space robotics, for artificial intelligence, for aerospace, aviation. So whatever field interests any enthusiast, I think we have the options available.
Perfect, 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 perfect. So thank you for sharing those insights about you, about the company, or about the whole story, and thank you for this amazing podcast session.
Thank you so much, Alexander, for asking very apt questions. I think it's some students or some listeners will definitely get inspired.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you one more time and see you on the next episode.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Alexander.